there was another game last week. We went out of the League Cup, 2-1 home defeat to Liverpool. Glenn, that first half was terrible. I mean, I'll be honest, they just didn't look arse, did they?
Started okay for about 10 or 15, and then Liverpool kind of took control, and we just seemed to stand off and allow them to pass the ball around. The first goal had an element of fortune about it because the through ball wasn't going anywhere until it took the deflection off of Bednarek and went up in the air. I don't really know why McCarthy started backpedaling, because he was in a good starting position, but he backpedaled and then he compounded it by falling over.
Was it you that said he was almost in the northern fan zone? Did I read that?
Well, by the time he got his backpedaling so quick and then he fell over. It's just like, Jesus, what are you doing, man? And allowed Darwin Núñez to score, which is like the biggest insult ever, isn't it? Mr. Andy Carroll himself.
He enjoyed that, didn't he?
Oh, how I know he's getting stick, and I think we all would have done it, but how as a professional you can give it the big one over a goal against Southampton in the League Cup, for God's sake. So there was that. And the second goal was just passive rubbish. We allowed Liverpool to pass the way through. We didn't get near to any of their players at any point. And Elliott scored, wasn't it? So, so 2-0 at half time. And it was like, oh, should we go home? This is rubbish. But in the second half, we come out and for the first time in a long, long time, we actually, we got the goal back through Archer. A bit fortunate how that came about. It was a good finish. But after that, we actually put Liverpool's defence under pressure, which is not something that we ever did when Russell Martin was the manager, because there was never, there's a shot and then 30 seconds later there's another ball flying across the box and people flying in and defenders everywhere, because we'd always have a shot, get the ball back, pass it around, and there was never that sort of momentum. So I really enjoyed that after we scored. The fact that there seemed to be some urgency. We've got 20 minutes to go and score another goal. Let's chuck the big lad on up front. Let's chuck the quick guy out on the wing, and let's get balls in the box. And both, Sulemana had contributed, which is a major surprise, but he got the ball, beat a player, smacked the ball across the box. It was like, again, Alfie used the word liberated. It was like, go back to playing as when you're an academy player and all you wanted to do was beat players and get crosses in. And it was almost like that. And Tall Paul had his moment, didn't he? The moment to be a hero, and he fell on his ass.
It will come at some point. He's going to score.
I mean, it's funny. We got the goalkeeper slipping, and we've got Tall Paul slipping over, and yet we have three idiots doing the crossbar challenge in trainers at half time. I don't fall over. It was. Sorry if you're listening, idiots. But yeah, I mean, and at the end of the game, I think people came away genuinely encouraged or genuinely pleased with the effort of the players in that second half, because they looked like they were desperately trying to get that second goal. And of course, I'll let the others talk about the refereeing decision at the end from Mr. Simon Hooper.
Can I just say, I would pay good money to the Saints Foundation to see you do the crossbar challenge at half time. I think a lot of people will be up for that. It was better in the second half, though, Alfie, and a decent goal from Cameron Archer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to Google it now, because what's that for him this season now? Is that a couple, isn't it? Is it 6 across various competitions? Maybe I'm making that up. Good finish.
Yeah, five or six.
Yeah, good finish.
Yeah,
and
6, I think.
I think obviously they were playing against the Liverpool B team by that point, just because a couple of changes have been made at half time and early in the half. But I think the point I've made to a couple of people this season is the Liverpool B team is still better than Southampton's A team. So it's still an uphill task, and they did well. And how much did that sort of second half performance contribute to what we then saw on Sunday? Because it probably just changed the narrative a little bit, just gave them that little bit of belief, gave Simon Russ something to go back and show the players on Friday morning when they were back in. So yeah, it's a real shame that they're out of the cup. I think obviously we knew that the expectation against Liverpool would be they would lose, particularly with everything going on. And it wasn't the worst half that we've ever seen. The first half was bad, though. I mean, I did not enjoy it. They were unlucky with both goals. The second one you mentioned, Glenn, there was also a deflection on the shot, I think, that took it away from McCarthy, to just make it a little bit even more unfortunate. And I think Nathan Wood didn't cover himself in glory in that moment as well, to be fair, stepping out at maybe the wrong time. But he's a young player, and he clearly hasn't let that bother him. I thought they did well to recover from that first half, because I was thoroughly bored.
Talk to me about the referee, Steve.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, in the only thing in the referee's defence is that he's probably not got the best of angles. But his linesman certainly did have the best of angles. He's looking directly at it, has a clear and unobstructed view of basically someone reenacting Ronald Koeman on David Platt from Rotterdam in 1993.
One for the kids.
I mean, I think quite a lot of our listeners will be of an age that that they'll remember that, so they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, it was just utterly extraordinary that wasn't given as a foul in real time. A friend of mine works with Simon Hooper's brother, and so some feedback was passed on, and something came back and said, well, yeah, at the end, ultimately, if VAR had sent me to the screen, I'd definitely overturn that. Which obviously is really comforting to know. 48 hours after the fact. Yeah, cheers for that. Yeah, what can you do?
It's funny though. Now we're moaning about, well, not because we don't want it, but we are sort of moaning there's no VAR to turn it around after all season.
Kind of more moaning at general incompetence because I mean, let's be brutally honest. If that happens at the other end, that gets given. 100 times out of 100, that free kick. I mean, it's only a free kick. It's not a penalty. But it's a free kick. It's a red card
in a dangerous area too.
Yeah, I mean, dead centre for a goal in the D on the edge of the penalty area. I mean, I'm not sure who we've got who would realistically take it. I mean, Fernandez took one that we had in a reasonable position yesterday, hit it straight at the wall. Although Fulham's wall was absolutely massive. And yeah, other than that, I mean, Sugawara maybe if because he would have been on the pitch at the time.
Tyler Dibbling.
Yeah, Dibbling maybe perhaps was on then as well. But yeah, I mean you at least give yourself a chance. You've got effectively a free shot at goal from 20 yards out. To basically take the game to penalties. And yeah, I mean you would like to think that we have a professional player in our ranks who can take a direct free kick and find the corner from it. But yeah, we'll never know, unfortunately.
We will never know.
Isn't part of the issue with referees, though? You get Simon Hooper's a Premier League referee, isn't he? So he's used to refereeing with VAR.
Yeah.
So I always think referees who are refereeing with VAR, they tend to not give decisions.
Yeah, because they know it'll be covered.
Because they know it'll be covered. And when you get a referee who's used to refereeing with VAR, refereeing without it, they tend to not make decisions. And I think that's partly what's happened here. I think a championship referee would have given that. It's
not against Liverpool though.
No, maybe not. But it's the old analogy about driving an automatic car as opposed to driving a geared car. You know, it's like if you've got help, you shouldn't be if you're used to driving an automatic, you should be driving a car with gears. And that's kind of how I think of it. These Premier League referees shouldn't be refereeing without VAR because it's totally and utterly different. But there you go.
That's a really good observation. Let's do a player of the week. Ryan Manning won last week. His first time this season. We said it was going to be an interesting one last week, didn't we? Any nominations for player of the week this week? We'll take into consideration, obviously, the Liverpool game and the Fulham game. Can I just maybe suggest Aaron Ramsdale, first of all, for the special clubs?
Exactly. Four-fingered Aaron Ramsdale. I mean, we didn't mention actually in the Fulham bit, did we? But yeah, he had a glove, so he had a thumb, he had a whatever this finger's called, he had one of these, and then these two were together. And I guess it's genius, isn't it? Really.
He was saying on Sky when he was trying to signal that he wanted a 3-man wall.
Yeah.
It was a bit of an issue because he's
three. Yeah. I mean, that must be difficult to catch, right? That doesn't feel natural. So I mean, I'd have thought that'd have been a problem. But that save on who was it? Was it Harry Wilson from fairly close range on the volley was absolutely unbelievable. Really good save and exactly the sort of thing that he's been signed to do. And to be fair to Russell Mine, a little bit unlucky that he lost him for all of those really key games because he does make a difference. One thing I say about him is I thought his kicking was fairly poor at Fulham, to be fair. There was a couple that went straight into the stands. But that's
wind was blowing all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
And the problem is, I mean, if you looked at the side that we had out there yesterday, when he had goal kicks, the only target for an hour was Joe Aribo. and then for the remaining half an hour, the only target was Leslie Ugachukwu, which just makes it really easy to defend against for them, because they can put two around him if they want. They can have one in front, one behind. Or I think for a lot of the time, they just left him 1v1 against Castagna, who's not awful in the air, even though he's not that big. And I think basically when you're defending, if you're able to go up and just nudge the attacker, you basically got no control over where you're going then, and you can't ever hope to win anything in the air. It's not a foul, so you're kind of stuffed there. You need multiple targets for those sort of situations, I think.
Yeah, Ramsdale for me, definitely my player of the match.
All right, I'll just go for Ramsdale as well. Steve, do you want to add anybody else in for the two games?
I thought Archer was excellent on Wednesday against Liverpool. Yeah, didn't get involved a huge amount yesterday, but kind of felt as if we kind of almost went back to that the split striker thing of basically the two, him and Armstrong were both kind of playing on the flank. So there wasn't a huge amount of attacking sort of interplay going on there. But ultimately we were concentrating on the defensive side of things. So I kind of don't mind it as a starting point, but wouldn't want to see it going forward, really.
Yeah, I was surprised that Cameron didn't start at Fulham, to be fair, but he had a bit of illness in the build-up to the Liverpool game, so I can only presume that was a continuation of that. Otherwise, surely he would have been in from the start.
And Glenn, anybody else you want to add to the list?
Sorry, I think I lost everyone there, so I might have missed it. But
we've got Aaron Ramsdale, I think, so far. Cam Archer as well.
Jan Bednarek.
Okay.
I thought, no, he was probably partly responsible for the first Liverpool goal with the slice up in the air. I thought he had such a good game yesterday that just stepped up as a leader, and I thought he made quite a few. I mean, Harwood-Bellis and Wood were both good, but they made the occasional mistake, and Bednarek was there to clear it up. I know that's his job as the central one of the three, but I thought he did everything.
Go very Roy Keane there. It's his job.
Yeah, that's his job. But no, he did it very well, and we've not often had defenders doing their job well this season.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And personally, I wouldn't complain if he's captain for the rest of the season. That's for sure. So. Yeah, I'd say
that's some turnaround, isn't it? In 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't he get his name on a board at St Mary's as well? Or at Staplewood, if he's captain, they got a board, haven't they?
If he's official club captain, yeah.